It's 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. We have a quorum with Mr. Hubenak and Ms. Kaminsky being absent. Ms. Kaminsky said she might be a few minutes late, so maybe she'll show up shortly. Welcome, everyone, and we'll open the meeting with a moment of silence that you can observe as you so choose. Thank you. Now, if you'd stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I think I know what our student report is. The way they're warming up.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. We have students here from Lamar Junior High, and they're charged up for strings. So we'll turn it over to
Should we put this on this?
Hello, my name is Noah Benitez. Tonight we have 8 of some of our finest students from Lamar Junior High. We have 45 students at Lamar currently in the orchestra, and we're going to play the Lion Sleeps tonight this evening. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Violin is my passion. I've been playing since I was 6 years old. I really love getting to play my violin every day during school. Thank you so much for giving us the orchestra program.
Hello, my name is Evan Pope, and I've been playing stringed instruments since 4th grade in the pilot program. I love orchestra's symphonic, beautiful sound, which brings a great harmony as we all play together and sing the song we're assigned. Instead of watching TV or playing video games when I get home, I practice my viola and my piano. I thank the school board for giving Dean Lehman Junior High the orchestra program.
Hi, my name is Daniel Perez, and I've been playing a stringed instrument for 4 years. I also joined in 4th grade during the pilot program, and I really feel that playing cello helps me bring up the me in my life, and I feel like this will really help me in life, getting scholarships and going to the schools I want to go. And I really thank you guys to give us the pilot and the orchestra programs that we have now.
I'm Ethan Hope, and I joined you in the Lamar pilot program in 4th grade. When I went to H&H to get my first instrument and I plucked the instrument, I knew cello was the instrument for me and I would become good at it. And when I went to Dean Lehman Junior High, they had orchestra and offered honors orchestra. And I made it into honors orchestra and was able to feel like I was in 4th grade again.
My name is Marley Motorazzo, and I'm an 8th grader at Lehman Junior High. This year I'm new to the district, and last year I was in one of the state's best school orchestras, and now I'm in a fresh, brand new orchestra program. At my old school, I've learned that orchestra is for kids that are willing to dedicate time and effort into their instrument, indicating that some of the best students take part in such an amazing program. So I thank the members of the school board for letting me play with a great group of kids this year and for the years to come.
Hi, my name is Martin Velez. I go to Dean Lehman Junior High. I started playing my instrument 3 years ago, and now that I found out that they were going to have an orchestra program at Lehman, I was excited to find out that I was going to be able to continue my orchestra future. So thank you guys.
That concludes our presentation. I hope you guys have a good night.
Thank you very much. Yeah, parents, would you stand? I know most of our
You're
crowd
very
must be
proud.
parents. Please stand up. Parents.
Stand and let us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Because they were beaming from here to
Awesome job on the part of these young people, and I think just as a reminder to everyone that this program has been expanded throughout the entire district at the 6th grade level, so it won't be very long before we have full-blown orchestras at each one of our high school campuses.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's what this district's about, and that's what part of this bond is about.
There you go.
Thank you again. Dr. Randall, any recognitions awards tonight?
We do not have any recognitions awards.
All right. Any introductions tonight?
We do not have any introductions tonight.
How about that? Any audience patrons?
There are none, Mr. President.
Wow.
Well, let's rock and roll here. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the September 19th, 2017 special meeting workshop.
I move that we accept the minutes of the September 19th, 2017 special meeting workshop.
No second to that? Second, Ms. Kaminsky. Any questions, comments? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? There are none. Thank you. Could I have a motion to approve the September 21st, 2017 regular board meeting minutes, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the September 21st, 2017 regular board meeting minutes.
Do I have a second to that? Dr. Carroll? Any questions, discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There are none. Thank you. That passes. Board member reports.
And I'm on. Okay. We did have a Board Facilities Committee meeting today, and we've been very busy. The final closeout of Lindsay Elementary School is on the board agenda tonight. We're getting close to the final closeout next month for Bentley Elementary, Pink Elementary repairs, and the chiller replacements. Don Carter Elementary School, the foundations and floor slabs are nearing completion. Structural steel has begun to be installed for the front of the school, and we saw some pictures tonight, and we have the framing of a school. Design development on the board agenda tonight for new Culver Elementary School, new Roberts Middle School, and the Fulshire High School shell space. Construction is well underway for new maintenance and operations facility, natatoriums at George Ranch High School, Foster High School, and Fulshire High School, band hall additions at Terry High School and Lamar Consolidated High School, baseball complex at Terry High School, and the HVAC web-based controls. The district-wide site lighting, replacement of exterior lighting will begin in December at schools and district facilities. And the Foster High School water plant upgrades are on the board agenda for award tonight. And then we got to see, it looks like big mud pits, but they're beginning to work on the track and synthetic turf field for Dickinson and Campbell Elementary. And of course, those are being sponsored by the donation by the Mud District from that area. And we did not have a technology meeting, but we did have a technology report. And you know me, I like to go through and highlight a few little things. So real quickly, of course, we do have an agenda item tonight to upgrade our current backup and infrastructure. Should be presented tonight in November, not tonight, but in November. So we're looking for that for the next meeting. And they're doing broadcasting upgrades, and over 60% of the campuses have begun live shows. The remaining campuses that have never had a live show are working with their CITS to recruit students and build a broadcast team. And 100% of the schools now have a broadcasting sponsor. So that's exciting. And ClassLink, we've talked about that before. This school year, ClassLink has processed 141,342 logins. We're on track to surpass last year's usage by the end of the first semester, and we started 2 weeks late. So I think that's awesome. And let's see. I think that's about it. And just a couple little notes. We've been very busy. Some of us went out to Region 4 last month to attend the Gulf Coast Region of School Board's update. And how much did you win?
$500
for the district. That's right. Take him to Vegas.
No.
No. And of course, again, we were very proud to, some of us did attend the TASB convention in Dallas, and we were very proud to see Dr. Randall honored as one of the top 5 superintendents of Texas. And of course, and I think we're going to get an update in a minute, but I helped out with the golf tournament. I think it was the first inaugural golf tournament by Rice and Gardner, and it was out at Weston Lakes, and we had a great day if it hadn't been 95 degrees in the shade. So, and I just want to say on a side note, for those that have been coming to our bond information meetings, we appreciate the feedback. And that's all I have to say.
I will give a brief update on the audit committee. The audit committee had reviewed that 500-page document, put in our comments, and since then, the auditors have come back to Dr. Randall and his staff and have reviewed, or they gave them a brief review of it. And then the staff had the task of responding to any data errors they might have found in there, and there were apparently quite a few of those. So that is on recycle now back to the auditors, and we hope to have that ready for presentation at the November board meeting where it can be approved by the entire board. And building on what Kay said about being in Dallas, it was kind of interesting that the superintendent, that one superintendent of the year for the state of Texas, acknowledged Dr. Randall as being her mentor, and how much he had done for her, and I said, can we get a recount?
It made the teacher proud, right?
It made the teacher proud. Anyway, congratulations again to you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Randall. Do you have any other reports from the...
Reports, I just want to comment that I got to go see James and the Giant Peach
Good.
production, and in the short period of time, I don't know if I said that correctly or not, but short period of time that your students had to work, it was excellent. My grandson thought it was terrific, and we intend to attend a lot more. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Randall, you have some items.
Yes, Mr. President. One of the information items, it deals with the school's Conserving Resource Program, most often referred to as SCORE. And Lamar CISD has been participating in this with CenterPoint Energy, which provides free assistance and financial incentives to reduce energy demands in our building. We actually have two representatives from CenterPoint, and I will we'll get an introduction of them, and they have a presentation.
Okay. Good evening. Sorry. My name is Josh Campbell. I work for Clear Result. We're the local implementer for the CenterPoint SCORE program. I'm joined this evening by Drew Scatizzi, our CenterPoint program manager, and Paul Gutowski, your Lamar CISD energy manager. This SCORE program provides local governments and school districts with vendor-neutral guidance to help them install equipment upgrades that reduce peak electric demand and save annual energy consumption. The program also pays cash incentives for those estimated energy savings. This year, Lamar CISD earned over $65,000 for the installation of high-efficiency chillers at Huggins Elementary, Frost Elementary, and Wessendorf Middle School. Combined, these projects will save over 170 kW of peak demand and over 338,000 kilowatt hours annually. Since participation began in 2008, Lamar Consolidated has now earned over $356,000 through the SCORE program. On behalf of CenterPoint Energy, I would like to recognize Dr. Randall, Paul Gutowski, the Lamar Consolidated School Board, and President James Steenberg. Thank you.
He gets a big check. That's bigger than his $500. That's exciting.
Okay.
$500.
Try not to get that light on.
We got to keep him on.
Okay, one more, please.
All right. Thank you.
Three of us all have the same number.
Thank you. And as Ms. Danziger mentioned earlier, that there was a golf tournament held this week, and while the funds that have been generated for LEAF, and it's not that presentation would go to the LEAF board. We did want Janice, as well as Mr. Rice and Steve, or whoever else is going to make some comments about and kind of update the board on what was done. So,
good evening. It was always a dream of LEAF to have it. I mean, we needed another fundraiser. But with a one-man office, it was like, okay, how am I going to find the time? I was in my notes and stuff. And last year, Jim Ross contacted me and said, let's do a golf tournament. And my response was, I don't like to go to the well. You can only go to the well so many times for money. And he said, there's a lot of people out there that want to do business with Lamar. Let's go after all the new business. And so he took me out for lunch. We met. He said, basically, they'd run some figures. They figured for our first golf tournament, they thought we could probably have 66 golfers, probably raise between $10,000 to $15,000, which is a good range for a first golf tournament. Well, I am thrilled to announce that with the support of Vanna, Rice, and Gardner, that we had 108 golfers that day, 95-degree weather, but with all the new money that was brought in from this event, I am thrilled to say My check is just a little bit bigger in size, but not the amount. We raised $40,971. And it was weird for me just to sit and enjoy the day because they did it all. And next year it's Monday, October 8th. Put it on your calendars. I've already got bidding going on Dr. Randall on whose team he'll be playing on. And Kevin's already booked.
Is it for or against his team?
I don't know that way. So anyway, so thank y'all.
Dial in the weather, be better.
I've already put in an order for Saturday.
Thank you, and thank you for support of our Education Foundation, because they really and truly do make sure that those dollars go directly to the teachers in the classroom, and that is a huge support for our students in our school district. So that's it, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'll establish the consent agenda. You follow along in your books, folks. Item A1. Item B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, B6, B7. I'd like to pull B8. Item B9, B10, B11, B12, B13, and C1. Those are items A1, B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, B6, B7, B9, B10, B11, B12, B13, and C1. Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items, please?
Make a motion that we approve the consent agenda items.
Dr. Harrell, second to that?
I'll second it.
Stan's here. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? There are none. The motion carries. On item number 8, that's the consider approval for change order number 1 from the natatorium at George Ranch High School. As I mentioned the other night in the workshop, after digging around a little bit, I'm not sure whether we have a space issue or a space allocation issue. When I go out there and I count regularly 75 spaces in the student parking lot behind the school, and we're looking at adding 50. So I'd like to I'd like to delay that until next month and entertain a motion to do that.
To delay?
Pardon me?
To delay?
To delay.
I'll make the motion. I'd like to move that we delay any decision on the change notice for the parking lot addition until the next board meeting to give the staff time to explore other options for resolving the parking issue at George Ranch High School.
Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Any further discussion?
Will this be a problem with delaying the project itself?
1 month?
Not at this time. It's not on the critical path. The contractor was moving forward with that, but we'll ask them to hold off on that front parking lot.
Okay. I just
Right, thank
want
you.
them starting one part. And
Right.
And what about the bids?
The bid price should be held. It was a change order price, so it's cost of work that we've already reviewed. So
Okay.
I don't see that being a change, but we will verify that with the contractor.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? There are none. Motion carries. Thank you. Ms. Danziger, would you read the resolution proclaiming parent involvement, please?
All right. Whereas parent and family involvement in the lives of children is critical to their success, whereas extensive research has shown parental involvement in education increases the likelihood of student success and is critical to students achieving high levels of academic achievement and performance, and whereas the objectives of Parent Involvement Week are to promote a greater knowledge of the efforts being made in the district to encourage parental involvement in education, to provide a greater awareness of the parent-family involvement activities and resources that are available to parents and families of school-age children, and to promote a greater understanding of the responsibilities shared by parents, schools, and the community to ensure high student achievement. And whereas Parent Involvement Week will bring greater awareness of the importance of parent and family involvement in the schools. Therefore, the Board of Trustees of the Lamar Consolidated Independent School District declares the week of November 13th through the 17th, 2017 to be Parent Involvement Week in the Lamar Consolidated Independent School District.
Thank you. That, we can't overemphasize how critical that is. The most successful schools are the ones that have parent involvement, so that is a very important item. I think we have a presentation on the Holdsworth Center.
We do, Mr.
information.
President. We want to give the board an update on where we are with Holdsworth.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Steenbergen, members of the board, and Dr. Randall. We're excited to present to you this evening just an update of our activities in October. We did not leave the country, for sure. We stayed here and continued our journey as we went to San Antonio in the past month, where we spent a week working with an unusual leader, international leader in the field of business, as well as always with the Holdsworth Center, you do a lot of upfront studying and research before you make your next site visit. So one of the things we researched came from the Harvard Business Review, and we get materials that we read through and we study as we set the stage mentally for the next visit that we make. And in the Harvard Business Review, what we dwelt on a lot during our visit there are what are some of the things that the world's greatest businesses do. And these were listed here for us, and each one of these we discussed and developed very carefully in the forum with our other school districts. After that, we took a look behind the scenes at HEB. When I think of HEB, you walk in, and I mainly want to know where the candy aisle is, to be honest, but the scene behind the curtain is incredible to see. They have a culture there that every single employee can reiterate to you, from the bag boy all the way up to Stephen Butts and Charles Butts themselves. And it focuses on some core values that the organization shares. And this is something that's in common with all successful businesses, school districts, and organizations in general. These are some of the things that we heard over and over. One of the things we enjoyed hearing the most about is the way they discuss feedback, whether it was from a peer or someone that worked for them or one of their supervisors. They looked at feedback as a gift. It's something that people give to you to help fill in the gaps, to help you be a better version of yourself. And the culture there at that organization is that you learn from it, you grow from it, and you welcome it. Other things, and I won't go over each one of these, but make charitable assumptions about the people you work with. Assume that they have positive intentions, first and foremost. As a supervisor, when someone crosses the line, deal with it. Don't break your trust with them as their supervisor. Everyone needs to know where they stand. Foster innovation. Show hospitality to everyone. It was just an amazing experience. We spent the day at the Armory of the Alamo, the old armory. They had revamped it. It was incredibly beautiful. And we heard from their top CEOs as they described their training program, their talent pipeline, and what made HEB grow from a small, basically grocery store in the lower Rio Grande Valley to a multi-billion-dollar business throughout the state of Texas. Then we spent a full day with Ram Sharan. I had no idea who this individual was until we got there, to be honest. He's a very unassuming gentleman, very humble, full of humility, and yet he is known as basically the advisor to all of the world's greatest CEOs. He has worked for, consulted with, and advised the CEOs of General Electric, Bank of America, DuPont, Verizon, Amazon, Microsoft. All of them turn to him when they need information, guidance on organizational structure within their business. He served on the faculties of Harvard Business School, Northwest University, author of 16 books, 2 million copies, and publications in all of those journals and more. He started out the day with us at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I have never seen a greater teacher, and I think we can all agree when they were there. You were on point the whole time because you had no idea when he would just look at you and say, Thomas, what do you think about that? Right in the eye. And I don't call him that very often, but Ram Sharon got to. It was just an amazing experience, again, the way we learned and grew. And that evening we had dinner with him. He sat in a chair at the front of the room, and it was almost like all we were missing was the fireside, to get to talk to him and ask any question you want and kind of share and grow and learn from him. Talent development from Dr. Sharon kind of followed this venue. First and foremost, his advice is don't have a big bureaucratic organization. It is not needed to have an effective organization. You don't need huge processes in place to get something done. Simple is better. Decide what you need 3 years out. That's about the maximum. He called it the rule of 3. Be mindful of that in everything you do. If you don't, you begin to focus on tasks instead of on your purpose. Focus on what is needed in the candidate when you develop a candidate. Look for those with a future view, vision, synchronizing skill, innovation, and above all, people interested in results. And those were some of the key things. I could go on and on, but we'll make this presentation brief. All of these things that we have learned here are going to be folded in as much as possible at this time of year to the district improvement plan. There are certain things we could easily identify that we wanted to work on. Vision, mission, and values are a part of that, but because of the timing in the year right now, you probably don't want to wait another year for the district improvement plan. So we're going to put a piece of that on hold, but we're building it into it as an action item, things that we're going to be looking forward to doing that will address a refresh of the vision mission. Strategies, goals, and objectives are primarily what we include in district improvement plans because they're annual by nature. And so within it, we're going to build some strategies and some items. So it'll look a little different this year than it has in the past. How do we decide what goes into it? We have things like the commissioner's priorities. We have the LCISD board priorities that must be included, of course. We have ESSA performance goals that we're required to include in the district improvement plan. We also have federal and state requirements that need to address closing gaps, post-secondary readiness, managing academic growth, and then compliance with all of our funding streams, such as special education. Each piece of those have requirements that you have to meet in that plan. And then, of course, we add to that the data and information analysis that we have in our LCISD systems themselves. In order to get a clear path, the Cabinet had about a 5-hour meeting this last Monday, and we ran what's called a SWOT. In other words, we looked at our strengths, our weaknesses, both internal and external, our opportunities, and the threats. Where did we need to focus? And the bottom line is a systemic approach to managing the growth of the district. So with that, our current stage is to start with a talent pipeline. A personnel projection that's at least 3 years out, hopefully 5 years out, and a systemic approach to adding new personnel predicated on effective resource management. We all agreed if we put a grocery list out there for personnel, we would probably need the state budget to take care of it. And so we have to look realistically at what our tax base will support and kind of marry in a systemic manner our priorities, our personnel needs, and our funding available to meet those. So how do we begin the talent pipeline? We've already begun work on this. What is important and what defines a district are the values that they hold dear. Our promise to our community, our culture code. All leaders in our organization are defined by the values that the people in this room hold. These are the things that form the guardrails on the district plan. I want to give an example here. Volkswagen's values were always responsibility and sustainability. Unfortunately, they did not live up to these when they broke the EPA's laws. That is one of the examples of what happens when an organization begins to stray from their core values. So what we're doing at this point is we've identified a principals advisory committee. They work with the cabinet and other identified leaders within the district. The Holsworth Center has assigned 2 consultants that work with us. They're housed in our building on Mondays and Tuesdays of each week. And we're working together with them to determine, before we try and recruit talent, before we try and form a talent pipeline, what is our definition of a leader? And what are the values we hold dear here? And we'll be deciding tomorrow, working on them again after general staff. We'll be here with that entire group. After each meeting, our advisory council principals will share with the principals. So this month we had 2 share outs, and we'll continue this work until we have that piece solidly in place. And at that time, we'll have our principals bring it to the board just to review the process and let you know the outcome of that work. I would like to conclude with just a video of our experience that Mr. Rockwood is going to share now, but I want to thank the board again. I know I speak for our whole committee for this opportunity that you're supporting and making available to our district.
So Holdsworth is here in Singapore with a team of 7 district superintendents and district champions to look into the leadership development program here for the education system in Singapore.
Their system is quite robust. It's also quite lofty in the expectations for not only the teachers but the principals and the vice principals and everyone involved in education.
You can't get better until you stretch yourself, and you can't get better until you start to explore the best. And right now, Singapore is one of the best in the world.
There isn't a minute that we're not discussing and thinking about how we can impact our state. We don't want to go back to the same way of doing things.
That concludes your presentation.
Oh, sorry. We thought there was something else.
I was sitting there waiting.
That was long.
There's quite a bit more to it, but we've had to pull some parts of it out.
That's
so.
okay.
Well, it's great to see that, and it's great to see some of the things that we heard from the auditors, some of the things you're going to find in that audit when we finally get that published. They don't collide with each other. To me, they sort of mesh with each other. They're very supportive, so I think it's a great time that all these two activities are meshing. And I appreciate all the work that y'all had to put into this, because I know
you didn't know what they were signing up for.
Didn't know what they were signing up for. Be careful what you ask for.
Someone shared the comment that there should be a doctorate or something that comes out of all of this, just because of the amount of preparation. But the good part about the experience is that it's research-based. There are lots of people that think that they know how schools should run, and if you ask them, why do you think that way, they can't really tell you. It's a thought that they have. But everything that Holsworth has put on the table so far has been strong research-based types of information, and we are excited to be a part of that journey. So.
That's what it should be.
And it makes a lot of sense. It follows right where you think it should. Very good.
Right. We have a couple quick items in closed session, so at this point in time, we'll adjourn to closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Sections 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, and 551.082 of the Open Meetings Act. And the time is 7:39. Do we have any action items for closed session?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move that the Board of Trustees approve personnel as presented.
Second that motion?
I'll second.
Ms. Bronsell, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There are none. Thank you. Future agenda items. None that you can think of? All right. Upcoming meetings and events.
Just Texian Market Days is this Friday and Saturday. If anybody wants to go out there, I'll be there.
Also, if we can get a heads up on some of the plays, because I caught
Yeah.
this.
That one was at the
Giant
very
Pizza,
last
that
minute.
Caught me off guard, so if we can get an update on those, I'd appreciate it. It's really great to attend those.
Yeah. Had to come in at the last minute.
This board needs to do upcoming meeting event. We need to do our team building session yet, so I've been talking to Dr. Randall about maybe that'd be a good time for us to do his objectives for next year. We can start working on those, and that sort of fits right in with what I saw up here on the Holsworth, imagine that. And so I think that would be a good team building session where instead of just taking those and saying, yeah, those look good and working again, that we actually sit down together and go through that exercise. So I'm going to try to put that together within this next month before our next board meeting. The only other item I have, well, I think everybody in here will probably vote. I encourage you to vote. Tell all your neighbors to vote and everybody else to vote. Starting
Monday.
3rd.
Monday. All right.
Any other items to bring before this board? If not, this meeting stands adjourned at 7:50. Thank you, everybody.